here when I was an apprentice, back when I was like, 17, 18 years of age. The guy that I was with, the ganger, so to speak, me and him would come here on our lunch break and we would often see dolphins here, just under the Keswick Bridge. And Inverness is a really lovely place, albeit, yeah, I'm biased. You know, it's a lovely place to look at, albeit it's getting a bit dark now, but even the Murray Firth in general, for that matter, which is what this is, because like if you look way over there, and I don't necessarily think you'll be able to see it all too much, but you can see like fucking Nairn and whatnot from here. But no, this is a really good spot to see the dolphins. Anyway. Probably going to end up losing some subscribers over a video like this. Which is fine. But nonetheless, I just want to sort of speak my mind briefly for what it's worth. And that is to talk about something that I have alluded to on and off, sporadically, periodically, over the years. That's like, it's mental health, you know. I've said in the past I've had issues on and off with alcohol. I've said in the past on and off that I've had issues with drugs. And obviously, for those that have known me for long enough will recall 2022, where I ended up trying to take my own life, which isn't exactly the sort of thing I'm proud of talking about, nor is it something I make light out of. And it's something that happened nonetheless. And towards the end of last year, it happened again. And I know some people will say that if you had legitimate intentions of trying to do something serious, then you wouldn't have told anybody, you just would have went and done it. And yeah, to be fair, they're probably fucking right. I think a good portion of my antics towards the final quarter of last year was predicated on, as pathetic as it sounds to say aloud, you know, like it was a cry for help, you know. But nonetheless, I was starting to get my life back on track as this year rolled around. First few months, but for whatever reason, my mental health has taken an absolute fucking tumble again. And it's fucking heartbreaking. You know, like every day I wake up and I just... Wow. I don't know, to be honest. I'm not well. I think that's fucking self-explanatory that I'm not particularly well. I'm no like a schizophrenic or, you know, crackpot and or an incel. I'm fucking polar opposite of an incel. My past is in the coke pie. But I mean more, I'm just, like, I'm no one of these people. I've struggled on and off with substance issues, and I don't necessarily know how much fucking fuel's left in the tank, and that's not me being over dramatic. I don't mean that I'm planning to record this video and then, you know, run away and pop my clogs. No, I'm not planning on doing that. I really am fucking struggling with just abject loneliness. I don't even know what the fuck's going on at this point. You know, one of my pals, IRL, bless the cunt, you know, his mum died a couple of fucking days ago, like last week. And I'm just so wrapped up in my own bullshit that I've barely been there for him. Yeah. And me and him were planning on moving to Elgin together prior to his mum passing away. And I don't know what's going on with me anymore. A wee boy that I've never fucking met, and that fucking broke me initially back in 2021/2022, and I had to put that on the back burner for a time because I had to try and salvage any formulation of sanity. And I invested so much of my 20s into fucking politics as well, you know. I remember Kenny Smith back in the day. Kenny Smith, for fuck's sake. And he was, I had a phone call with him one night. This was well after I'd parted ways with him and others. It was on the back of the mother of my child. Like no plain ball, so to speak. And he said to me back then, I had a blatant alcohol problem. You know, and he wasn't fucking wrong, was he? Especially back then. But then I was like, I think it was 2021 now. Regardless, 2022 rolled around, and I ended up on other things. And see, like, some of the streams that are still available online, where I'm involved, you can tell I am just out of my fucking face. Ain't a good look. Not a good look at all. Some of the happiest times of my life, the past several years, was first and foremost finding out that I was going to be a dad. So it was terrifying as it was. I wanted to be involved. The other time in my life where I was equally as happy, albeit there was a sadness that I was sort of trying to suppress, was when I proposed to my other ex-partner, and she said aye. Yeah. But I've done myself no favours over the course of the past few years, I've wasted the vast majority of my 20s divulging into just self-pity. And I say that like I'm belittling myself. Now we're at the Islands of Inverness. So, obviously I got a phone call and I went to meet a pal for a bit. But I did want to conclude this video before I go home, because I don't necessarily know where I go from here. I'm not even talking about in a legal sense, just talking about in general where I fucking go from here, you know. It was funny way back in the day. COVID, keep your distance, etc, etc. I'm going to be 30-year-old this year. And I remember, this is a bit of a segue admittedly, or a tangent, but I remember when I first started to sort of obtain recognition way back in the day, and we're talking well before like fucking COVID, etc. People are like, oh my god, you're so young. Been invested in politics for so long, and I did meet some really good friends along the way, you know. But that is all gone. And I need to focus on myself. And I was doing that, have been doing that. But it doesn't make any of it any easier. At all. Do you know how reprehensible it is to say aloud, I don't want to be here anymore? I've had so many fucking problems over the years, my latter 20s, where I should have dealt with things a lot more adultery, or adult-like, I should say, than I did. Drink, drugs, any excuse to just get out my fucking trolley. And I'm reaping what I sow.
But despite a spotlight being plastered on me over the course of the fucking past several months, dare I say, there has been a spotlight that has most certainly been placed upon a lot of people who make claims that your community. Good one. Good one. Fucking good one. Full of shit. Yeah, you're full of shit. Not all he is. Not all of yous, but a good portion of yous are. Yous are full of shit. So I'm at a crossroads. Regardless of which direction I do decide to take, it will inevitably lead to an outcome in which I want to see my son. But before I get to that outcome, I'm still at the aforementioned crossroads. And it's a question of whether I continue doing what I've done for so fucking long, or it's if I just give up and stop and move on in my life. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure which way I want to move in that regard yet, as of yet even. But it's been pretty fucking brutal. In truth, it's been pretty fucking brutal. I know I've been a bit of a fucking lol cow, which is ironic, maybe, given the amount of years I spent taking the utter canter of soy bites. You know, every man meets his maker. It's my mother and my grandmother I feel sorry for, to be honest. Because I've always felt sort of compelled to stick around in Inverness for the sake of my grandmother's well-being and my mum's well-being. But yeah, it's now coming to a point where it's starting to affect me, you know. I'm an Islander, born and bred. But I don't think I can live out my final days here. You know, waking up in the morning, wanting to go back to sleep, no having a fucking job, in and out of fucking work, debating whether or not to go and spend my depleted fucking savings on drink and or drugs. You know, the list is endless of my complaints. All the while, of course, got a wee boy that I'm yet to meet. Every single fucking time I ever open my mouth, I potentially make matters worse. In relation to custody and all the rest of it. You know. The darkest of thoughts, like seriously, the darkest of thoughts have continued to cloud my judgment the past few fucking weeks. And I think that's a sign. I need to seek help, proper help. Anyway, it is what it is.